So many people overcomplicate the really simple process of weight gain and muscle gain and bulking, right? Just like Isaac Newton probably had to go through the mental complexity of inventing what we know today as gravity. People overcomplicate this so much that they probably put the same mental strain on themselves that Isaac Newton had to go through when he was trying to figure out how that apple fell on his head when he was sitting at the bottom of the tree, right? But in today's video, I'm going to make bulking and muscle gain on easy mode for you guys. I'm going to explain it in the easiest way possible and make this simple process truly as simple as it is, because so many people overcomplicate things, which is the wrong step, because how you perceive the world to be is how the world will manifest, right? And if you perceive bulking and muscle gain and weight gain to be hard and difficult and complicated, then that is how that is going to manifest in reality. AKA, if you think bulking and weight gain and muscle gain is hard, then it is going to be hard. However, I'm going to put it on easy mode for you so you can perceive it as easy, therefore it's going to manifest in your reality as easy, so you are going to gain muscle and do this on super easy mode, okay? So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So, as I said, so many people overcomplicate it, and it's funny because all it is, if we zoom out and look at it from a meta perspective, weight gain and muscle gain, it's three things, right? There are three pillars to muscle gain, and there are three things overall that you have to make sure you are doing, right? That's it, right? Three things. If you are doing these, then you have got the recipe, and you are going to see your scale weight start going up. You are going to see some biceps growing on your arms, right? You are going to see your strength going up, and you are going to start seeing your physique changing, right? And these three things, it's so funny how people think it's so hard, right? The three pillars to effective muscle and weight gain and doing it on super easy mode is making sure you're training consistently and hard, right? Making sure you're eating in alignment to your goal, and making sure you are recovering properly, and making sure you're not burning out physically and mentally. That is it. Seriously, that is how I have gained 27 kilos in 4 years. That's it, right? It's so simple. Obviously, there's micro to the macro, meaning there's obviously little things you can be doing to make sure you're training really consistently, and there's little things you can be doing to train harder every time, or there's little things you can be doing to help you stay consistent with your diet or make it easier, and there's little things you can be doing to ensure you're recovering properly. However, we don't need to necessarily dive into that right now, because that's it, all it is, right? There's three pillars, three steps. If you make sure you're doing all of those three, then you are going to get somewhere, right? Well, it may not be Mr. Olympia physique, but you are going to get somewhere and make physical changes, right? So without further ado, enough of the waffle, let's get into step one, or I should say pillar one, of how you are going to bulk up and gain muscle on easy mode, or should I say super easy mode. So making sure you're training consistently and hard, right? So many beginners, and if you're a beginner watching this video, you're like, oh, I don't know how to train consistently, or I don't know how to train hard, right? You're overcomplicating it for yourself right there, right? Because the best thing you can do in order to start getting consistent and to actually like understand how to train hard and actually do it in the first place is starting right now after this fucking video, right? If you haven't got a gym membership yet, pause this video, sign up, and go to your gym after this video. I will give you a bloody workout to do, okay? If you are a beginner, pause this video and go and sign up to a gym right now, because the best way you are going to learn how to be consistent, and the best way you are going to learn how to train hard, is to actually do the thing, right? So many people wait for the perfect opportunity to start. Starting is the best possible thing you can do, because that's the only way you learn, right? The reason why I say just start, sign up to the gym and go to the gym after this and I'll give you a workout, is because with consistency comes practice, right? And with practice comes experience, and with experience comes knowledge. And if you combine all of those things together, then you are going to see improvement in the quality of your training, the consistency of your training, how you enjoy it, and how you actually train yourself harder and push the limits. Therefore, you're going to inevitably grow, right? If you never start and if you never go to the gym because you're overcomplicating it and you're waiting for the perfect opportunity, how are you going to learn those things? No one will judge you if you're performing an exercise incorrectly. No one will judge you if you go and ask for them for help, right? You may think someone is looking at you or judging you. However, that's not the case. Everyone is in there for themselves and everyone is in there for the same reason, to get better physically, mentally, and as a person, right? So if you start today, you will have the upper hand, right? You will have the upper hand over the people who are waiting for the perfect opportunity, because I hate to spoil the party, but there is no perfect opportunity. And the perfect thing to do is just start, right? Whether you have a shit session, just starting is the best thing to do, because the more you sort of get yourself in that zone and the more you start training, that's you building up your experience from day one, right? And then you're going to learn how to train hard. You're going to start to stay consistent. And as I said, the flywheel is going to start speeding up and you're going to just inevitably improve, right? So making sure you just start today is the most important thing, right? Just start. Just start. So if you're still not sure on how to do that and you're still making things complicated for yourself, let me explain how to do that, right? Step one, you want to find a workout plan and stick to it, right? You want to find a workout plan and do exercises that you enjoy, that's easy to follow and very simple and effective to keep progressing on, right? So many people follow the crowd of when someone says that, oh, you know, best exercise of 2025 or best program of 2025, start following it. They keep hopping from program to program. However, this is not how you're going to progress, because you need to think about it like this. If you don't stick to a program and you keep hopping onto different programs and following the trends, think of it like learning a skill, right? If you give yourself 1 week to learn Spanish and then the next week you want to learn French and then the next week you want to learn piano, you're not going to get good at any of them because you haven't given yourself enough time to, right? And it's the exact same thing with a workout plan. You want to find a structure that you enjoy, that's easy to stick to, that aligns with your routine, and that you find fun, right? Because that is how you are going to progress. First of all, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, then why would you do it? We don't live long enough on this earth to do stuff we don't enjoy. If you don't like the structure, then obviously why on earth would you do that? And if it doesn't align with your routine, then it's a bit silly to do that, right? So you want to find a workout plan and stick to it, right? And as a matter of fact, I have got a free community that is going to be the top link in the description down below. I give the guys in there, almost 250 men just like you, a free push-pull legs workout program that the guys are using and they are actually seeing results with. If you want to access that, all you've got to do is just click the top link in the description, drop a request to get into the community. I will get you in there. There's a few steps you got to do, and then the workout plan is yours, right? So I would highly recommend you do that, but if not, no problem at all. But, you know, it's very simple and made for you, right? The next thing you want to do is do exercises you enjoy, right? Someone may say bench press isn't the most optimal or productive for muscle growth. However, bullshit, right? Because the exercises you enjoy and that you feel a connection with and that you feel are actually growing the chest and that motivate you to go to the gym, and the exercises that motivate you to go to the gym, they are the ones that will be the best for you, right? If you enjoy bench press but someone else online says it's not optimal, fuck them, right? Do bench press, right? Because that is, you know, as I just said, enjoyment is a key factor to staying consistent and actually having the will to put yourself through hard training and, you know, putting yourself through burning pain in the muscle while it's working, okay? So make sure you do exercises and you stick to a workout plan that you enjoy. And I would highly recommend that you start training either 2, 3, or even 4 times a week, right? If you feel that you can stay consistent and you actually have the time for it, 2 to 3 to 4 times a week will be absolutely perfect for you right now in your position, getting consistent and gaining experience, right? So what you want to do is you want to stick to this workout program and you just want to push yourself, right? You want to be better than yesterday. A good mindset that I have is that I don't want to leave the gym floor knowing I had another rep in me, right? I don't necessarily want to leave the gym knowing that, oh, I could have been a bit better because I could have done another rep. No, right? You want to be better than yesterday. You want to train harder than last time. And when a weight feels easy, you basically just want to increase it to the next one, right? So let's say I'm doing bench press and I've got 60 kilos or 135 pounds on the bar, right? And if I get 12 reps and the weight feels pretty easy, then I'll up it to 62.5 or 138 pounds, whatever it is in pounds, right? You just slowly increase the weight when it feels easy, and you want to push yourself, right? That is basically how to start, and how to start training consistently, and how to build up the intensity of your sessions. It's that simple, right? So now moving on to the second pillar out of 3, which is eating in alignment to your goal. What I mean by eating in alignment with your goal is our diet determines how our body changes, right? And what I mean by that is everyone has a maintenance calories. So if you don't know what a maintenance calories is, it basically just refers to the amount of calories one has to eat day to day in order to stay at the exact same weight, right? So if someone eats at this maintenance calories, right, they are going to stay at the same weight. It's in the name, maintain, right? The reason why you would stay at the same weight when you eat at this amount is because that's the same amount of calories that also leaves our body, right? So, for example, if person X had a maintenance calories of 2000, the reason why they would stay at the same weight when they eat this is because they consume 2000 calories, so 2000 calories enter their system, whilst 2000 calories also leaves their system, because we naturally burn calories whenever we're doing rest, despite whether we're resting or whether we're at physical activity. Therefore, we burn our maintenance calories, right? So the reason why our calories are 2000 here is because 2000 calories also leaves our body. So it just balances it out. Therefore, we stay at the exact same weight. However, that's not what we want to do, because our goal is to bulk and gain weight and gain muscle, right? So we have to do what is called eating in a calorie surplus, right? So a calorie surplus basically just refers to the excess amount of calories one eats in order to gain weight. So let's go back to person X with the 2000 calorie example. So because we have to eat 2000 calories to stay at the same weight, that also means we burn 2000 calories, and 2000 calories leaves our body, right? In order to be in a surplus and gain weight, we can't eat the same. We have to let in more calories than the amount that leaves our body, right? So we have to eat more that goes in than the amount that goes out, right? So then this amount of calories can be devoted towards gaining weight and gaining muscle, right? Because all of the calories from maintenance and below goes towards making sure our immune system and our bodily functions are functioning normally day to day, right? However, when we eat in a calorie surplus, we'll have these calories left over. Therefore, they can just be put to use for muscle and weight gain, right? And if we don't eat in a calorie surplus, then it will be biologically impossible to gain this weight, right? So it is super important that we eat in a calorie surplus. And in order to find yours, I've left a calorie calculator that's going to be the top link in the description. All you've got to do is just put in your details, click calculate, and then under the numbers that have just come up, you basically just want to click show info for weight gain, and then where it says weight gain 0.5 kilos a week, you want to build yourself up to be able to eat that amount, right? And that is how you are going to gain weight, my friend, right? And what you want to do is you just want to commit to that, track your calories, making sure you're eating that amount every day, because what happens a lot of the time is that it's really easy to overestimate or underestimate how much you eat, especially as a beginner, right? So you actually want to know how much you're eating every day, stay consistent to that, and in order to help you do that, you want to just eat meals that you enjoy, right? Why on earth would you eat food you don't like? If a bodybuilder tells you that chicken, rice, and broccoli is the most optimal for gains, yes, it may be because the meal is very healthy. However, if you don't like that and you like to eat meatballs and pasta, for example, instead, then eat meatballs and pasta all the time, right? Because that is what, at the end of the day, as long as we're eating enough calories, that's all that matters, right? So making sure you actually enjoy the food you eat, you know how much you need to eat, so you know your surplus, and then just committing to that, staying consistent with that, and you will see your weight going up, right? And in order to track your weight, before I move on to the third pillar, you just basically want to make sure that you have a scale. So if you don't have a body weight scale, I'd highly recommend going on Amazon and buying one. There's thousands of them, right? You basically just want to stand on this weight scale in the morning, every morning, right? Before you do anything, before you go in the shower, before you eat, before you drink. The only thing you can do is go to the toilet. So do number 1, number 2, or number 3. I'll leave you to think about that. And the reason why we want to do this first thing in the morning, as the first thing we do, is because that's the most accurate time throughout the day, because we won't be holding on to any weight that will make things inaccurate, right? So making sure you just eat in a calorie surplus, eat foods you enjoy, stay consistent with it, and make sure you're tracking your weight every day, every morning. That is what is going to get you to obviously eat in alignment with your goal, which is to bulk up and gain muscle on super easy mode, right? So that is the second pillar out of 3, right? So now we've covered just training consistently and just pushing your limits and just slowly increasing the weight when it feels easy and eating in a calorie surplus and staying consistent with it. Now let's move on to number 3, which is recovery, right? And it's very, very simple, very straightforward, right? When we recover, our muscles grow, right? And if we don't allow ourselves and our body enough time to rest, then we can't allow our muscles to grow. The reason why our muscles grow when we're recovering is because we do the damage in the gym. However, when we give our body rest days, then the muscle just grows back basically bigger, better, and stronger in order to adapt, right? So all muscle growth is an adaptation process. The harder you train, the heavier you train, then the muscle is forced to basically adapt to those needs, right? So you need to make sure you're recovering, otherwise this adaptation process can't happen and you're simply going to burn out, right? So just make sure at the very minimum, in my opinion, you have 2 rest days a week. So I would say at the absolute maximum, you go to the gym 5 days a week, because, although you may be giving your biceps 3 days of rest before you next do biceps, your central nervous system, your CNS, is working in every single session, right? So you need to have off days, right? And on these recovery days, just make sure you're getting enough sleep, 7 to 9 hours a night. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure you're consuming enough protein and sticking to your diet. And that is going to help you speed up the process of muscle recovery and muscle growth, right? So that is, in however many minutes, how to gain muscle and bulk on super easy mode, right? So that is now the end of the video. I hope you have enjoyed. And if you do want more help beyond these YouTube videos, it is, where I can help you further make bulking and muscle gain, put it on easy mode, then I would absolutely love to invite you to my very own free community that is in the top link in the description that I mentioned previously. As I said, we got a workout program in there. There's almost 250 guys in there just like you who are on the exact same journey, wanting to bulk, wanting to gain muscle, make it as easy as possible. I basically teach them all the fundamentals, and I would absolutely love to have a one-to-one chat with you. Come and surround yourself with like-minded people on the same journey as you, and you will inevitably grow. You know what they say, the 5 people you surround yourself with, and you know what they say, you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself the most with, right? So come and join the fun. It's going to be the top link in the description below. But anyways, if you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like, make sure you leave a comment down below. And if you do want to stay around on the YouTube channel, I'd really appreciate that deeply. I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. So 3 times a week, teaching you all sorts of stuff, right? So make sure you drop a little subscription and hit that red button down there. But with that being said, thank you very much for watching. Have a good day. Get started now. There is no perfect time to start. However, the perfect thing to do is just start. I'll see you later.